First story. My name is Chloe. I was 17 at the time, a normal girl from New Jersey who thought the worst things in life were finals and stupid little fights with my mom. But everything changed the night I first heard that sound, coming from inside my bedroom wall. At first, I thought I imagined it. A faint scratching noise, like maybe a mouse running behind the drywall. But after a few nights, it got clearer. Sometimes, it sounded like whispering. Like someone was quietly talking right next to my ear, but no one was there. One night, around 2 a.m., in total darkness, I heard it. A voice, clear and low. "Chloe, are you awake?" I froze. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it was going to burst out of my chest. I got up, opened my door, and stepped out into the hallway. The house was dead silent. My parents were asleep. I wanted to tell them, but I didn't want them to think I was crazy. From that night on, every night, exactly at 2 a.m., the same voice came from the same spot in the wall. "Chloe, I'm so lonely." One night, I placed a small recorder near the wall. The next day, I played it back, and what I heard made my skin crawl. "Chloe, you look so pretty when you're sleeping." I couldn't take it anymore. I told my dad. We checked the wall together. It looked normal, until he found a tiny panel in the back of my closet. A small hatch we never even knew was there. He unscrewed it, and this horrible, damp, rotten smell came pouring out. We shined a flashlight inside. There was a narrow crawl space between the walls, maybe 2 feet wide. But what we saw inside was unbelievable. There was an old blanket, empty cans of food, some dusty magazines, and a notebook. We called the police. When they came and searched the space, they said a homeless man, probably years ago, had gotten in through the roof or the ventilation system and had been living in our walls ever since. We had never seen him, never heard him come in. But the worst part, in that notebook, he had written, "Chloe. She leaves during the day. At night, I get to see her up close. Just one more time. Just once more, I want to touch her." That final night, just before we opened the wall, there was no voice. He was gone, and he was never found. Next story. My name is Phil. I'm a truck driver. I spend most nights on the road, especially on those long interstate highways that run through the middle of nowhere. That night, it was around 3 a.m. The air was foggy, the road wet. The only thing I could see was the faint beam of my headlights cutting through the mist. Then I saw something. Standing by the roadside, right under a street lamp, was a woman. She was wearing a long white dress. Her hair was soaked, hanging over her face. She raised her hand, like she was waiting for someone to stop. I don't know why, but I hit the brakes. Even though we're not supposed to pick up hitchhikers, there was something in her face I just couldn't ignore. I opened the door. Without saying a word, she slowly climbed in and sat down next to me. She was soaked, cold. She just looked at me and said, "I'm going home." I asked her, "Where do you live?" She didn't answer, just kept staring at the road, like she hadn't even heard me. A few minutes passed. Then, out of instinct, I glanced at the side mirror. The passenger seat was empty. I slammed the brakes, pulled over, opened the door. Not a single footprint. The seat was dry. There was no sign anyone had ever been there. I thought maybe I'd imagined it. Maybe I'd been dreaming with my eyes open. But the next day, at a gas station, something on the local radio caught my attention. They were talking about a woman who'd died years ago, on that same stretch of road, on a foggy night. Car accident. Her body was never found. The name, the description, the clothes, everything matched. Same woman, same face, same voice. And guess what they said at the end of the report? This is the third time truckers have reported picking up a woman in white, who then vanishes without a trace. Next story. My name is Alex. I'm a psychology student from Illinois. That summer, I took an internship at an old psychiatric facility on the outskirts of town. The building dated back to the 1800s, brick walls, high ceilings, and long hallways where footsteps echoed like you were never alone. As an intern, I wasn't allowed in the locked wings, especially room 12. Everyone spoke about it in a strange way. Even the senior nurses avoided it. One night, my shift ran late. Everyone had gone home. I was organizing patient files when I heard something faint. A soft, stretched out laugh. I couldn't believe it. The sound was coming from the far hallway. The hallway that led directly to room 12. I walked slowly toward it. The door was closed. It had an old rusted lock. But the sound, it was definitely coming from inside. I stepped closer. Silence. Then I heard a voice. "You're just like the ones who think I can't see them." I froze, spun around. No one was there. The next day, I asked one of the older nurses about room 12. She said it used to belong to a particular patient, a woman who claimed she could read minds. She never spoke unless she smiled first, and right after someone nearby had a dark thought, she would say it out loud. One morning, the guards went to bring her breakfast. When they came back, she was dead. Not from suicide, not from an attack. Her body was frozen solid, as if she'd been kept in a freezer. But the room had been warm, perfectly normal. Since that day, they locked room 12 permanently. But then the nurse told me something even more disturbing. "You're not the first intern who's heard laughter from that hallway." That night, I couldn't sleep. I felt like someone was watching me. My window was closed, but there was condensation on the glass. And something had been written in it with a finger. 3 words. "Heard you think."
Don't forget, like and subscribe for more stories. And don't be spellbound.